There are three main problems in rationalism which have remained unsolved for a very long time. The first problem is that reason operates on axioms or well-known ideas, but you cannot create new ideas simply by reasoning. This is the problem of creativity, or how you arrive at new theories and ideas. The empiricist would argue that we come up with new ideas by looking at the world. The world shows us new phenomena, and we are inspired by these new phenomena to create new ideas. Ideally, the rationalist response can be that we can freely create new ideas because the power of creativity lies in us. But this type of claim is never made because it brings a risk, which is that someone can say that you're simply imagining things, and someone can imagine differently. How does this imagination help us, and why should we be interested in your imagination? In particular, how is rational thinking different from fictional literature, where the author creates fictional characters, personalities, and situations, and then goes about describing their behavior using logic and reason based on these fictional creations? So rationalism runs the risk of being bundled with fiction if we say that creativity is within us. So most rationalists are also Platonists. They claim that there is a world of ideas which exists as pure possibility, and we intuit this world through the mind and then express it through reason. So it is not merely our creation, and it is not obtained from the observation of phenomena. It is rather intuited from a world of ideas or possibilities. And what we prove using reason is true in all possible worlds, whether or not we find actual instances of these things within the present world here and now. The problem is that rationalism opens the gates to a new metaphysics, where there is a world of Platonic ideas, and our mind is able to perceive this world of ideas even without the senses. And to the extent that the real world follows the theories created by reason, we are compelled to believe that the real world is in some sense a reflection of the Platonic world of ideas. This then leads to the problem of how the Platonic world is reflected in the present world, and how the mind is able to perceive this world even when it is not reflected. So rationalism, contrary to what most people think, actually leads us into some kind of mysticism where there is a transcendent world, and by our minds we can know this world. The problem with this mysticism is that Enlightenment and Renaissance in Europe were predicated on the rejection of transcendence of religions. It was claimed that religion is based on faith and belief, and we are not going to accept anything based on faith and belief. We will rather test it against reason, and whatever doesn't stand the test of rationality would be rejected. But the problem is that we cannot obtain new ideas by reason unless we say that we are perceiving another world of ideas. Therefore, we must either be limited to what we already know, or we must accept transcendence and mental perception. So many people have been troubled by this contradiction, and they stop talking about how the mind discovers new ideas. They simply shut out the thought that by the mind we know a different type of reality, which lies beyond this world of material objects. And this cuts into the foundation of rationalism because we don't explain how the method finds new ideas. The second problem is that ideas by their very nature constitute meanings, and these meanings are contextual. For example, I can use the word address or gift as a noun or a verb, and what this word means depends on the context. Now, this is a problem because if all rational knowledge is conceptual and concepts are contextual, then by reason we cannot discover universal truth. We would rather be talking about contextual truth, which may not be true in all the possible worlds. So acknowledging that we are dealing with concepts entails that we are dealing with the contextual or the real world rather than the world of ideas. And this knowledge is not necessarily true in all possible worlds. In fact, now it is known that if we try to universalize the knowledge of concepts, then we end up in contradictions. Godel famously showed linguistic terms such as numbers can be used in many different ways. For example, nouns and verbs, universal and particular. And our ability to distinguish between these things leads to contradictions. So if we say that all rational truth is universal truth, then our truth is inconsistent or self-contradictory. And if we are only discovering contextual truth, then everything we discover is only true in some context and cannot be called universally true knowledge. The third problem is that of choice. Reason depends on axioms, but there is no reason for how we choose the axioms. You can choose one set of axioms and arrive at one set of conclusions, and I can arrive at a different conclusion by using a different set of axioms. So you cannot say that your claims are more true than mine, since you have used reason and I have also used reason. Our differences arise because we have different axioms or assumptions. Again, using reason doesn't lead us to transpersonal truth. It is just true for me because I believe in some axioms, and reason cannot be used to test the axioms. So you and I can be completely rational and yet have completely different beliefs. We cannot call these beliefs knowledge because every rational person can have different beliefs. So this problem reduces to the issue of how to test the validity of axioms. And reason or rationality cannot help us here because rationality assumes the validity of axioms. It can only tell us if some conclusions follow from the premises, but it cannot tell us if the premises are true or false. So these are the three problems of rationalism. First, we don't know how we can explain creativity without acknowledging a transcendent world and non-sensual direct perception by the mind. Without this explanation, we risk looking the same as the religious ideologies that preceded rationalism, or like poets and novelists who create fictional or poetic ideas rather than precise, reasoned arguments. Second, even if we acknowledge the existence of a transcendent Platonic world of ideas, the nature of meaning makes this contextual rather than universal truth, which means it may be true sometimes and false at other times. Third, there is an element of choice in selecting axioms, which means that what I consider true may be contradictory to what you consider truth, even though we are both rational. Now, some philosophers have tried to overcome these problems in rationalism by saying that the mind is not a blank slate from birth. Immanuel Kant, for example, said that the mind has preformed ideas such as space and time, matter and causality, which are used as goggles to view the world. And we are born with these goggles, so this is innate knowledge. The problem is that these goggles are not universal. Everyone is wearing some goggles to see. And if these goggles are not universal, then we have to explain how each person got a different set of goggles right from birth. This quickly leads into the problem of reincarnation, where you must have acquired the goggles in a previous life. But that would be an unacceptable solution to most rationalists and empiricists, so we don't even go there.